It's been over 3 months since I last done an after action report for Vicky 2, and here it is as I just finished a game I've been doing the last week, as it's Deseret. As is second time I played them, because the first time I played them, America kept attacking me to get their cores back. So in order to ensure your safety in the game, you have to start off as start off as Texas and give in to Mexico. You let them annex you. You flip over to Mexico, force them to accept the deal to take over Texas, and then you can release Deseret, because that's what I did. Because Deseret starts off with, let's see, state, regional, where's the state map at? Here's that, here we go. They start off with Arizona, Utah, Nevada, which is all one state, and a good chunk of California, so they actually are connected to the coastline. And of course, it only has, I believe it was 12,000 pops or something like that, 12 to 20,000 pops to work with. So, I just built up my rank, got the SP, I let America sphere me. Once they sphered and allied me, I had them doing my dirty work for me. I took over parts of South America, you see. I had Panama before the Panama Canal got built, because the Americans took it from me. I took over Hawaii before they could, and I was able to colonize a bunch of the Pacific area too, as you see. Down here, Fiji and all of that. I took over Brunei, and then I took over, once they became strong enough, Taiwan and this part of China too, because America thankfully helped me in that regard. And I had them take over all of Persia and all them right down here. Even America had a colony right here too, which was ugly as shit too. Sucks I couldn't finish taking over all of Persia, but they civilized beforehand. And I managed to colonize a good chunk of Ethiopia too, so we got an African colony going on. So then, I believe it was in the 1910s, I finally became a great power. And of course, there is a weird exploit in the game. As you all know, or anyone that plays this game, in order to have an election, because we were dictatorship at the beginning of the game, but then we finally became democracy. You need to have pops of your primary culture in your government, because we had residency, so I had enough. I can only have Yankees as my voters, but there was no Yankees in my game at the start. Remember, it's all Mexican and Native American. So for almost the entire game, I was literally a democracy with 0 voters because of that exploit. So once I got to set great power, I knew I had to attack America and get a state with Yankees. That way I can finally start getting on my shit fixed with the democracy. So I allied with the British, and I took Oregon away from America. And once I did that, oh my dear God. Oh my God. All of down here in Deseret, which was all mostly Chinese with some Native Americans, Japanese. It was literally immigrants from all over the world. It was a giant melting pot. The second I took over Oregon, they instantly started assimilating to Yankee. It was crazy. So let's see population. Yeah, look at that. In just taking over Oregon and just slightly over 5, 6, 7 years, I went from 0 Yankee to over a third. That's how quick it was. It was crazy. And then I ended my war last year, where I beat the crap out of Mexico and America to finish taking over all of California. I wanted to take over the rest of Arizona to get the border looking right, but unfortunately, I could not add a war goal because the British were the war leader. But how about that, though? If you look at that Deseret, I made him great power number 8th. 4th in prestige, 9th in industry, which industry, we have so many population that I cannot build up enough factories to get workers in, craftsmen. I feel like China, basically. I'm China in this regard. And the 5th biggest army, I was number 1 at one point because of my navy, but I fell to 5th place. I guess everyone was starting to build up their navies and get ahead of me. It was a fun game. It was annoying, though, that I had to do all the craps playing as Texas, force Mexico to annex Texas, and then switch over to Mexico and force them to release Deseret in order for me to secure America's safety. Because if you don't do that, if you say start off as Mexico and end the war in a white peace and let Deseret go independent right after that, the Manifest Destiny crap will happen, and America will get all their cores on here. So even if they sphere you, because that's what happened in my first game, they sphere me, But once they got their cores, they immediately started lowering my relationship with me so they can attack me. So, remember, if you want to play Deseret safely and not be attacked by America, you need to start off as Texas. Go into the diplomacy tab. There will be a war thing right here. You ask, let Mexico annex you. You tag switch over to Mexico, accept the offer, take over Texas, then you can release Deseret. Because you gotta finish the war first before you can release Deseret. You can't release a country when you're at war. But hey, this is a fun one. It's gonna be in the middle of the pack of my scores. So anyways, here is the final map and the standings in the world.